Hello there, and welcome. Tonight, we touch upon a concept that might seem vast and perhaps a little daunting at first glance. We are going to explore, not with rushing thoughts, but with a quiet, gentle curiosity, the stillness that can be found within the infinite number. Imagine something that goes on forever, yet holds within its endlessness a profound sense of calm, a quiet, unchanging truth. We will simply breathe and rest near this idea, allowing its quietude to settle over us. Before we begin our gentle journey, if you feel like sharing a quiet moment across the distance, perhaps let me know, very softly, where in the world you are listening from tonight and what hour it is for you. It's a quiet comfort to imagine us all resting together under the vast sky, separated by miles but connected by this shared moment of peace. And if this quiet space brings you a gentle moment of calm, a soft tap on the like button or a quiet whisper of a subscribe helps this little corner of tranquility find its way to others who might be searching for a moment of peace before sleep. Now let us begin to settle in. Let us settle a little further into the quiet space we have found amongst the numbers. We have felt the gentle stillness of their infinite presence, like a calm, boundless ocean stretching out without end. Each number exists in that vastness, perfectly itself, holding its unique position along the silent line. But in our own quiet thoughts, in the gentle rhythm of our lives, some numbers seem to gather a soft luminescence, a gentle hum of importance that others do not. It is as if, in the infinite democracy of numbers, a few are quietly nominated by our hearts and minds to carry a little extra weight, a special meaning. What is it that whispers importance into a number? Is it an inherent quality, hidden deep within its numerical essence? Or is it something we, in our human way, gently drape around it, like a soft cloak woven from memories and meaning? Consider a simple number, perhaps the number 3. In the grand expanse of the number line, 3 is just 3. It sits calmly after 2, before 4. But for many, the number 3 carries a gentle significance. Perhaps it is the three sides of a fundamental shape, the triangle, suggesting stability and connection. Perhaps it is the rhythm of beginning, middle, and end, a quiet echo of stories and journeys. Think of the gentle folklore and simple rhymes where 3 appears, like 3 wishes or 3 gentle knocks. These are not complex calculations, but soft associations that lend the number a familiar, friendly feeling. Or take the number 7. Across different cultures and quiet traditions, 7 often holds a special place. Think of the 7 colors of the rainbow after a gentle rain, or the 7 notes in a musical scale that create such soothing harmony. There are the 7 days of the week, marking the quiet passage of time in a comforting pattern. This significance is not found in the bare numerical value of 7 itself, but in the gentle patterns of the world and the quiet stories we tell, where 7 seems to appear with a quiet grace. It is a number we encounter often in soft, recurring cycles. Sometimes the importance is deeply personal, like a quiet whisper meant just for us. Think of the number of years you have gently journeyed on this earth, or the day of the month when a truly precious moment occurred. These numbers might seem ordinary to the rest of the vast universe, but for you, they hold a gentle warmth, a soft glow of memory. They are points on the number line that are connected not just to the abstract sequence, but to the quiet story of your own unfolding life. Your birthday, an anniversary, the number on the street where you first felt truly at peace. These are numerical addresses in the geography of your heart, marking places and times that matter in a soft, profound way. Numbers can also feel significant because of their quiet role in the fundamental nature of things. Think of numbers like pi, the gentle ratio that describes the perfect roundness of a circle. Its decimal form drifts on, never settling into a repeating pattern, like a quiet mystery that endlessly unfolds. There is a deep, calm beauty in this infinite, non-repeating sequence.
Pi feels important not because it is personal, but because it is woven into the very fabric of the geometric world, a silent, constant truth about curves and circles. It is a number that speaks softly of the universe's gentle elegance. Another number with a quiet, almost mystical importance for some is the golden ratio, often represented by the Greek letter phi. It is found in the gentle spirals of shells, the quiet unfurling of leaves, and in the soothing proportions of certain artworks and buildings. This number, approximately 1.618, seems to appear in patterns that our eyes and minds often perceive as gently harmonious and beautiful. Its significance comes from this recurring presence in naturally pleasing forms, suggesting a silent, underlying order to the world's quiet beauty. It's a number that seems to sing a soft visual song of balance and grace. Then there are the numbers that feel important because they are the building blocks, the quiet individuals of the number world. These are the prime numbers, like 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and so on. What makes a prime number feel significant? Perhaps it is their gentle independence. A prime number cannot be neatly broken down into smaller whole numbers multiplied together, except for itself and the number 1. They stand alone, in a way, pure and indivisible, like the quiet atoms of the number universe. Every other whole number greater than 1 can be gently constructed by multiplying prime numbers together in a unique way. They are the fundamental elements from which all other numbers are quietly built. There is a simple, elegant truth in their existence and their unique role. They are the quiet roots from which the vast forest of numbers grows. Consider the number 100. It feels significant not because of a deep mathematical property like being prime or irrational, but because it serves as a gentle marker, a natural resting point in counting. We count to 100, we speak of percentages out of 100, we measure in centuries of 100 years. It is a gentle milestone, a soft threshold in our systems of measurement and counting. It's a number that feels friendly and reliable in our everyday reckoning. The number 0 also holds a quiet, profound importance. It represents nothing, an emptiness, and yet it is absolutely essential. It is the gentle placeholder that allows our system of numbers to expand infinitely. Without 0, we would not have the concept of place value, where the position of a digit changes its magnitude. 10 would simply be 1, and nothing more complex could easily be built. 0 is like the quiet canvas upon which all other numbers gain their context and scale. It is the point of calm stillness from which the positive and negative numbers gently diverge. It is the gentle beginning and the quiet end in certain cycles. Its significance lies in its quiet, essential emptiness that makes everything else possible. Sometimes a number feels important simply because it marks a quantity that is large enough to feel substantial, but not so large as to feel abstract. A dozen, for instance, the number 12. It is a convenient grouping, gently divisible by 2, 3, 4, and 6. It feels solid and practical. Or a gross, which is 12 dozen, 144. These numbers gain a gentle significance from their usefulness in trade and counting things out in manageable bundles. They are quiet numbers of commerce and craft. Even very large numbers can feel significant, not just in their vastness, but in what they represent. Think of the gentle estimate of the number of stars in our galaxy, or the quiet count of atoms in a single drop of water. These numbers are far beyond our ability to individually count or even truly picture, but their magnitude speaks softly of the immense scale of existence. Their importance lies in humbling us with the sheer quiet abundance of existence. They are numbers that carry the gentle weight of cosmic scale.
So, what makes a number feel significant? It seems to be a gentle interplay between the number itself and the stories, systems, patterns, and personal connections we wrap around it. A number in isolation, in the vast, still sea of all numbers, is just itself. But when it is touched by a memory, used to describe a natural pattern, or serves as a gentle building block in mathematics or our daily lives, it begins to glow softly with meaning. It is like a single grain of sand on an endless beach. From afar, it is indistinguishable.
But if that grain of sand was carried home in a gentle hand after a perfect sunset, it holds a quiet, personal significance that no other grain on that vast beach possesses. The grain itself hasn't changed, but it has been woven into a gentle narrative, a soft moment in time. Similarly, numbers take on their gentle importance when they are woven into the quiet narratives of our lives, the patterns of the natural world, and the elegant structures of mathematics. A number like 4 might feel significant because it is the number of seasons, the quiet rhythm of the year, or because it represents the 4 gentle directions, anchoring us in space, or perhaps simply because it was the number on a favorite childhood toy. The number 10 feels significant as the base of our number system, the gentle reset point that allows us to count onward indefinitely. It is a number of completion in many small counts, a tidy bundle of ones. It feels solid and reliable. Even numbers associated with uncertainty or chance can feel significant. The number 13, for example, which carries different quiet associations in different cultures. For some, it might carry a gentle shadow of unease, for others, a quiet blessing. This shows how the significance is not in the number's mathematical core, but in the gentle layers of human belief and story that are placed upon it. The numbers that feel important are the ones that have been gently touched by our experience, our culture, our understanding of the world's quiet workings, or their own unique place in the mathematical structure. They are the numbers that step forward gently from the infinite background and catch our attention for a moment, holding a soft, personal, or universal meaning. As we drift deeper into the quiet contemplation of numbers, we can appreciate this gentle dance between the objective stillness of their existence and the subjective warmth of the significance we sometimes feel they possess. Each number exists, calmly and perfectly, but some, through the gentle lens of our perception and the quiet stories of our world, seem to hum a little louder, glow a little brighter, whispering their soft importance to our quiet minds. Feel the gentle presence of these numbers that feel significant to you. They are like soft anchor points in the vast, calm ocean of numbers. They do not disturb the quiet stillness of the infinite, but rather they offer us gentle paths into understanding and connecting with that vastness on a more personal scale. They are the friendly faces in a boundless crowd, the quiet echoes of meaning in an endless sequence. Let their gentle presence be a comforting thought as you continue to drift into stillness. The numbers are all there, calmly waiting, and some hold a special, gentle whisper just for you. Let that soft whisper guide you now. And so we float gently from the abstract dance of numbers into the simple, comforting shape of a circle. Imagine a circle. Just picture it in your mind, or perhaps feel its shape with your inner hand. It has no corners, no edges to catch upon. It is a line that simply flows back into itself, complete and whole. Think about the feeling of drawing a circle with your finger on a soft surface, like misted glass or fine sand. There is a smooth, continuous movement. The beginning is also the end, and the end is also the beginning. It is a shape of perfect return, of quiet fulfillment. Nature seems to love circles too. Look at the gentle curve of the horizon, the serene face of the moon watching over us, the quiet ripple expanding outwards when a single drop falls into still water. See the delicate iris of an eye, the humble dewdrop clinging to a blade of grass, or the perfect symmetry of a single bubble floating softly on the air. Each is a testament to the circle's inherent peace, its quiet completeness. A circle feels still. Even if it is in motion, like a softly turning wheel or a planet in its orbit, there is a stillness within its very form. It is always and forever perfectly round. It is always returning to itself. But even in this stillness, there is a hidden measure, a quiet relationship that lives within every single circle that has ever existed or ever could exist, no matter its size. Let us think about measuring a circle in the gentlest way possible. Imagine you want to walk around the edge of a large, perfect circle, like a quiet pond. The distance you walk all the way around is called the circumference. Now imagine drawing a straight line directly across the pond, passing through its very center. That straight line is called the diameter. For a long time, people have been curious about how these two distances relate to each other. How many times longer is it to walk all the way around the edge than it is to walk straight across the middle? It seems like a simple question, doesn't it? But the answer holds a quiet mystery. Let's say you have a small circle, like the lid of a jar. If you carefully measure the distance around its edge, and then measure the distance straight across the middle, and then you divide the first number by the second number, you get a specific value. Now imagine a much larger circle, perhaps the rim of a large wagon wheel. If you do the same measurement, the distance around the edge divided by the distance straight across, you get exactly the same value. And if you take a giant circle, perhaps imagining the Earth itself at its equator, and you divide its circumference by its diameter, you get exactly the same value again. This is the beautiful, constant secret of circles. The ratio, the quiet relationship between the distance around and the distance across, is always the same. It is a steady, unwavering number that holds true for all circles, everywhere. It is like a universal friend to every circle, whispering its constant proportion.
This special number is what we mean by the hidden measure of the circle. It is the invisible thread that connects its circumference to its diameter, binding them together in a fixed and eternal relationship. It is a number that is the very essence of roundness, in a mathematical sense. Now, this number has a name. It is often represented by a gentle symbol that looks a little like two pillars with a hat on top. But the name itself isn't as important as understanding the nature of the number it represents. For you see, this number is quite extraordinary. When you try to write this number down precisely using our decimal system, something remarkable happens. The digits after the decimal point begin to unfold. The first few are simple enough: 3.14159. But they do not stop, and they do not fall into a pattern that simply repeats itself over and over in a simple way, like 0.333 or 0.121212. No, the digits of this number continue to appear, one after another, in a sequence that seems to have no final end and no simple repeating pattern. 6, 5, 3, 5, 8, 9, 7, 9, 3, 2, 3, 8, 4, 6, and on it goes. It is an infinite number, a number whose decimal representation stretches out forever, a quiet, endless stream of digits. This is where it connects back to our earlier thoughts about the infinite. Within the perfect, finite shape of a circle lies a number that is intrinsically endless. It feels paradoxical, doesn't it? A shape that is complete and contained, defined by a number that is limitless and unbounded. But perhaps that is part of the circle's gentle magic. It is a shape of stillness that contains within it a reflection of the infinite, a constant reminder that some things simply flow on forever. Imagine those digits now, unfolding gently like a long, soft ribbon unwinding in the quiet air. Each digit is a step in this endless sequence, a tiny part of the whole, infinite number. There is no need to memorize them, no need to understand the complex patterns they might hold. Simply appreciate their endless nature. 3, then 1, then 4, then 1 again, and 5, and 9, 6, 5, 3, 5. They just keep coming, a never-ending story told one digit at a time. Yet, despite this endless unfolding, the value of this number is fixed. It is always that steady ratio between circumference and diameter. The digits may be infinite, but the relationship they represent is perfectly stable, perfectly still. The number itself is a constant, a quiet truth that underlies the geometry of every circle, sphere, and cylinder in the universe. It is like watching a calm river flow endlessly. The water is always moving, always new, always changing. But the riverbed, the banks, the shape of the river itself, these can be seen as relatively still. The endless flow of digits is like the water, but the constant ratio they represent is like the steady, unchanging river. This hidden number, this steady friend of circles, appears everywhere roundness does. From the great celestial bodies orbiting in the cosmos, following paths that can be described using circles and ellipses, to the tiniest swirling particles we can barely imagine. It is woven into the fabric of spirals found in seashells and galaxies alike. It is present in the gentle curve of a rainbow, which is part of a circle. It is a number that speaks of connection, of how things relate to each other in a circular way. It speaks of cycles, of returning paths, of perfect balance. And it does so with an infinite voice that never raises above a whisper. The contemplation of this number can be surprisingly calming. There is a comfort in knowing that this constant ratio exists, unchanging and true, no matter how large or small the circle. It is a piece of quiet order in the vastness. And there is a certain peace in accepting its endlessness. We do not need to reach the end of its digits because there is no end. We can simply observe them unfolding, like watching gentle waves lap upon a shore, each one distinct, yet part of a continuous, infinite ocean of number. Let your mind rest upon the image of a perfect circle now, smooth, complete, peaceful. Feel its inherent stillness, and know that within that stillness, held silently within its simple shape, is this extraordinary number. It is the number that measures its roundness, linking its edge to its center with an infinite, constant value. Imagine the quiet precision of this number holding the circle in its perfect form. Imagine the endless stream of its digits flowing silently, like a soft, constant hum in the background of the universe of shapes. It is not a busy or chaotic endlessness, but a steady, predictable unfolding. Each digit follows the last in a determined way, even if we cannot easily see the vast pattern. This silent, infinite presence is always there, within every wheel that turns, every drop that falls into a pond, every eye that closes. It is the hidden measure, the steady ratio, the infinite friend of the circle. Let this thought settle gently in your mind. The perfect stillness of the circle, supported by the endless, quiet flow of its defining number. There is no hurry to understand all its mysteries. Just feel the calm assurance of its constant nature. The circle is round, and its roundness is defined by this unchanging, infinite relationship. Breathe softly now, in and out. Like a gentle, slow cycle, feel the roundness of your own breath, the rise and fall, returning to stillness before the next breath begins its journey. The circle of your day is perhaps drawing to a close. The thoughts that have spun around like wheels are beginning to slow. The quiet measure of rest is approaching. Allow the image of the perfect circle to bring you peace, its completeness, its return, its quiet strength. And know that within that gentle boundary lives an endless truth, unfolding silently, asking for nothing but quiet acceptance. The smooth curve of the circle, the steady connection between its size and its journey around its edge, the infinite number that embodies this connection, it is all part of the quiet, ordered beauty of the world. A beauty that is present in the smallest pebble and the largest star. Drift with the thought of this endless stream of digits, flowing like a calm, deep current. You don't need to follow them or understand them. Just let their presence, their quiet continuation, lull you into a deeper state of rest. An infinite number holding the perfect, still circle in its embrace. Feel the comfort in this constancy. The number is always the same for every circle, a reliable, unchanging friend. And its endlessness is not a chaos, but a different kind of order, a sequence that simply continues, offering a quiet reflection of the infinite itself, wrapped within the finite simplicity of a circle. Let your mind relax, releasing any tension you may be holding. Feel the gentle weight of your body sinking softly, like a stone dropping gently into still water, creating perfect, expanding circles of calm. The circle of the breath continues its gentle rhythm. The circle of the closing day leads to the quiet circle of the night. All around us, this hidden measure, this infinite number, is silently at work, defining the roundness in our world. It asks for nothing, demands nothing. It simply is. A quiet truth, a constant presence, a testament to the simple elegance of the circle and the unexpected endlessness found within it. Rest now within the comforting shape of the circle. Let the thought of its steady nature and the quiet, infinite flow of its defining number carry you softly toward sleep. There is only stillness and peace here. The perfect roundness, holding its endless secret gently.
Let us drift now, gently, towards a shape that holds within it a quiet mystery, a shape known to everyone, simple and perfect, the circle. Picture a circle in your mind. It could be small, like a dewdrop clinging to a blade of grass, or large, like the soft glow of the moon rising in the quiet sky. Or perhaps it is just an abstract shape, a perfect boundary enclosing a space. Feel its smoothness, its gentle completeness. There are no corners, no sharp edges, just an endless, flowing curve returning always to itself. Every circle, no matter its size, has a heart, a single point exactly in the middle, equidistant from every part of its edge. This center holds the circle together, giving it balance and symmetry. And that edge, that perfect, continuous boundary curving all the way around, we call that the circumference. It's the distance you would travel if you walked right along the very edge of the circle, all the way back to where you started. Imagine tracing it slowly with your finger, feeling the smooth path it makes. Now, imagine a straight line that passes directly through the heart of the circle, connecting one point on the circumference to another, straight across the middle. This line is the widest part of the circle. We call this the diameter. It cuts the circle neatly in half, passing directly through the very center. So, we have the edge, the circumference, that lovely curve all the way around, and we have the line across the middle, the diameter, passing straight through the heart. These two parts seem very different, don't they? One is a curve, the other is a straight line. One goes around, the other goes across. But there is a deep and constant relationship between them, a secret shared by every single circle that has ever existed or ever will exist. It's a quiet truth waiting to be discovered. Let's perform a gentle thought experiment together. Imagine you have a circle, perhaps a simple hoop or a wheel. And imagine you could, ever so carefully, take its curved edge, its circumference, and straighten it out, like taking a piece of string that followed the curve perfectly and then gently pulling it straight. So now you have a perfectly straight line, but its length is exactly the same as the curved distance all the way around your circle. Now, let's take that straight line across the middle of the circle, the diameter. We still have that too. Our task now is to see how many times the length of the diameter fits along the length of that straightened out edge, the circumference. Imagine laying the diameter line down at the very beginning of the straightened circumference line. It fits neatly. Now, lay a second diameter line right next to the first one, continuing along the straightened circumference. It also fits. We have now laid down 2 diameters. Let's lay down a third diameter line next to the second one. It also fits within the length of the straightened circumference. So, the straightened edge of the circle, the circumference, is clearly at least 3 times as long as the line across its middle, the diameter. 3 whole diameters fit along the edge. But look closely. After laying down those 3 diameter lines, there is still a little piece of the straightened circumference left over. It's not a lot, but it is definitely there. It's a remaining length of the straightened edge that the 3 full diameters did not cover. And this remaining piece is not long enough to fit a whole 4th diameter. It's just a fraction, a smaller part of a diameter. So, the circumference, the distance all the way around the edge of any circle, is always equal to 3 times the distance across its middle, the diameter, plus that little extra piece. 3 whole diameters and then a bit more. And now here is the beautiful and quiet secret. That bit more is always the same proportion of the diameter, no matter how big or small the circle is. Whether your circle is as tiny as a raindrop or as vast as the distant horizon, if you unroll its edge and measure it against its line across the middle, you will always find that the edge is a little bit more than 3 times as long as the middle line. The ratio, the comparison between the circumference and the diameter, is a constant number. It is always that same value, just over 3. Think about that.
A giant circle has a very long circumference and a very long diameter. A tiny circle has a very short circumference and a very short diameter. But when you divide the length of the edge by the length of the line across the middle, you always get the exact same number. It's like a universal fingerprint for circles. This special number, this constant ratio of the circumference to the diameter, is one of the most fundamental numbers in all of nature and geometry. It is slightly larger than 3. It is approximately 3.14159, but that is just the beginning. You see, when you try to write this number out perfectly as a decimal, it never ends. The digits after the decimal point go on, infinitely. They do not fall into a repeating pattern. They simply continue, a seemingly random yet precise sequence stretching out forever. 3.141592653, and on it goes, without ever concluding, without ever repeating in a predictable loop. This number, forever unfolding, forever revealing new digits, yet always representing that one simple constant ratio in every circle, is a whisper of infinity captured in the finite shape of a circle. It connects the simple act of measuring around a circle to the profound concept of endlessness. Imagine again unrolling that edge and measuring it with the diameter. One diameter fits, a second fits, a third fits, and then there is that piece left over. That leftover piece represents the part of this special number that is beyond 3. It is the 0.14159 and all the digits that follow, stretching out infinitely. So, within every calm, perfect circle, there lies this connection to an infinite number. The distance around is tied to the distance across by a constant, unending value. It is a quiet reminder that even in simple forms, there can be profound, boundless depths. Rest now with the image of the gentle circle. Feel the soft curve of its edge, the steady line across its middle, and know that the journey around is linked to the journey across by a constant, unending value, flowing on, calmly, endlessly, just like the quiet moments before sleep. Let that thought settle softly in your mind. The still edge, the steady line, the infinite connection, all held within the simple, perfect shape of a circle. There is peace in this quiet constancy, this unending truth. Feel the stillness. Feel the gentle presence of this number that never ends, a soft, continuous stream in the quiet dark. Let it lull you deeper, deeper into rest. The circle, the edge, the line, the number, all still, all calm, all leading towards quiet sleep.
Now we imagine stepping onto that quiet path, the one woven from the digits of the infinite number. It begins simply with those familiar figures we saw earlier, like stepping stones at the very edge of a calm shore. The number stretches out before us, a ribbon of symbols, each one following the last in perfect, quiet succession. Feel the gentle stability of the first few digits beneath you. They are known, comforting. There is a quiet order here at the beginning, but the path does not stop there. It unfurls slowly, gracefully, moving beyond the familiar into the vast and unknown sequence that continues forever. Allow yourself to drift now, carried gently along the flow of these digits. You are not walking, not striving, just floating on a quiet current made of numbers. Each digit is a tiny eddy, a brief moment in this endless stream. They pass by smoothly, one after the other, in a silent, continuous procession. Imagine this sequence as a very, very long line stretching out across a calm, dark sky, or perhaps like a thread of moonlight gently trailing across a tranquil sea. There is no end to this thread, no edge to this sea of numbers. It simply continues, digit by digit, moment by moment. Watch them as they drift past. Perhaps you see a 3, then a 1, then a 4, then a 1 again, a 5, a 9. These are like the first few quiet notes of a never-ending melody. After these known notes, the sequence continues, revealing new digits you may not recognize. A 2 appears, then a 6, a 5, a 3, a 5 again. Each one is a distinct entity, yet part of the larger, unbroken whole. There is no rush here. The stream of digits flows at its own unhurried pace. You simply float, observing. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. Just watch the numbers unfold,
like petals opening very, very slowly in the quietest garden. Consider the vastness of this path. It extends infinitely in one direction. Every digit that has ever been calculated, every digit that ever could be imagined in this specific sequence, lies somewhere along this quiet path. And beyond those, infinitely more digits wait quietly to be observed. Drifting along, you might notice patterns appearing, then dissolving, perhaps a sequence of sevens or a string of zeros. They appear like brief constellations in this numerical sky, beautiful for a moment, then they gently fade back into the overall flow as new digits emerge. Sometimes the sequence seems random, sometimes it seems to hint at an order you cannot quite grasp, but that is perfectly fine. There is no need to understand, only to observe, to feel the gentle rhythm of the unfolding numbers. Think of the comfort in this endlessness. It is a constant, a quiet presence that simply exists. This stream of digits has been flowing forever, in a sense, and will continue to flow. It is a steady, reliable current in the quiet expanse of abstract thought. As you drift, allow your mind to rest. There are no problems here, no worries, just the gentle, repetitive sight of numbers gliding past. A 7, a 9, a 3, a 2, a 3, an 8, a 4, a 6. Each digit is a small, soft sound in the silence, a gentle tap on the window pane of your awareness. Imagine millions of digits flowing past you, then billions. The path stretches out, shimmering softly in the stillness. You are not moving fast, but you are covering immense distances within this numerical landscape. Yet the feeling is one of profound peace, a quiet stillness within the gentle movement. Perhaps you think of a specific number important to you, a birthday, an anniversary, a phone number. The quiet wonder is that somewhere, far along this infinite path, that exact sequence of digits exists, waiting quietly to be found. It might take a long, long drift, across millions or billions or even trillions of digits, but the sequence is there, a tiny familiar pattern woven into the vast, complex tapestry of the infinite number. This thought is not meant to make you search or strive. Rather, it is a gentle reminder of the richness and depth within this endless stream. Every possible combination of digits, of any length, is contained within this single, continuous sequence. It is a library of all possible numbers, written out in a single, unbroken line. Feel the sensation of letting go, of simply being carried. The digits continue to flow, a gentle river of numbers. 3, then 1, then 4, then another 1, a 5, a 9, 2, 6, 5, 3, 5, 8, 9. The sequence is unique, specific to this number, yet within its endlessness, it holds everything. The light here is soft, perhaps like the muted glow of twilight or the soft diffusion of light underwater. There is a sense of quiet contemplation, a peaceful observation of the vastness that unfolds before you. The numbers do not demand your attention. They simply pass by, a quiet parade of symbols. Let your breath synchronize with this gentle flow. Inhale as a few digits drift into view. Exhale as they glide silently past. There is no need to focus intensely, just a soft awareness of the numbers moving by. It is like watching leaves float down a slow-moving stream, or clouds drift across a vast empty sky. The sheer scale of the infinite number is not overwhelming here. It is comforting. Knowing that this sequence continues forever brings a sense of peace. It is something constant, something reliable, something that simply is, in its quiet, ordered, yet seemingly unpredictable way. You are completely safe here on this quiet path of digits. There are no sudden turns, no obstacles, no rushing currents, just the steady, gentle, quiet flow. The numbers whisper softly as they pass, a soothing, unintelligible language that lulls you into a state of deep calm. Imagine the silence surrounding this stream of numbers. Even though they represent quantity, their presence here is one of stillness. They exist in a realm of pure abstraction, a quiet space free from the noise and demands of the everyday world. Drifting further and further, the concept of distance fades. Millions of digits, billions, trillions, they all feel the same in this state of quiet observation. The journey is not about reaching a destination, but about the experience of the gentle, endless movement itself. Allow your body to relax completely. Feel the weight of your limbs growing heavy, sinking softly into the surface beneath you. Your mind is quiet, focused only on the gentle flow of the digits passing by. They are like a slow visual mantra, a repetitive, soothing presence. Think of the way ocean waves roll gently onto a shore, each one similar but subtly different, following one another in a timeless rhythm. The digits are like these waves, an endless succession, each one unique, yet part of the same continuous, calming motion. The path stretches ahead, disappearing softly into the distance, always unfolding, always presenting a new digit, then another, and another. There is no repetition in the grand sequence in the same way a simple pattern repeats. Each section is unique, yet the overall experience of the flow is one of peaceful continuity.
Feel the sense of being completely supported, held by the gentle current of this infinite number. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to grasp, just the simple act of letting go and drifting. The digits continue their quiet dance, a silent ballet performed for your peaceful observation. The number is not just a string of digits, it is a concept, a fundamental aspect of the universe's quiet elegance. Exploring its endlessness is like exploring a facet of deep underlying order, even when the sequence itself seems random. Drifting past millions and billions of digits, there is a quiet marvel in the sheer scale. Yet it feels intimate too, as if this vastness is unfolding just for you in this quiet, peaceful moment. Each digit is a tiny world, appearing and disappearing, contributing to the grand, unending narrative of the number. Let the soft, quiet stream of digits wash over you, carrying away any tension, any thoughts that might disturb your peace. They are like tiny, smooth pebbles in a gentle river, tumbling softly as they flow downstream. The rhythm of the digits passing is like a slow, steady heartbeat, or the gentle rise and fall of quiet breathing. It is a natural, soothing rhythm that encourages your own body to relax and slow down. As you continue to drift, the individual digits might begin to blur slightly, merging into a soft, continuous stream of light and shadow, a quiet current of abstract energy. They are still there, flowing perfectly, but your focus softens, allowing you to simply feel the sensation of the drift. This endless string of digits is a place of stillness within movement. There is constant change, constant unfolding, but the underlying presence of the number itself is constant, eternal. It is a quiet anchor in the vastness of thought. Feel yourself growing heavier, more relaxed with each digit that passes. The gentle rhythm, the quiet presence, the endless flow, it all combines to create a deep sense of peace and calm. You are simply drifting, held safely and gently by the infinite number. The journey continues, quietly, softly, digit by digit, moment by moment. There is no end, just the continuous, peaceful unfolding. And in this endless unfolding, you find a place of deep rest, a quiet harbor in the vast ocean of numbers. Just drift, let the digits flow. Sleep is near, carried on this quiet current. We have journeyed into the quiet stillness of a very special number, a number that seems to hold infinity within its calm, non-repeating digits. But where does such a number reside in the everyday, or even in the seemingly random aspects of our world? It often makes its appearance in the tiny patterns that emerge when we least expect them. Think for a moment about randomness. Imagine gentle raindrops falling onto a surface. Each drop seems independent, landing in its own unique spot. There appears to be no predictable pattern in any single drop's destination. Yet, if you watch for a long time, observing countless drops, a different kind of pattern begins to emerge. A statistical pattern, perhaps, or a distribution of where most drops tend to land. Mathematics often explores this fascinating boundary between absolute randomness and the quiet emergence of order. And our special number, this silent constant, is surprisingly present in places where randomness seems to be settling down or organizing itself in subtle ways. Consider something as simple as arranging objects. Imagine you have a few cards, each numbered. You arrange them in order, perhaps 1, 2, 3.
Now, imagine gently shuffling them. When you lay them back down, what are the chances that none of the cards are in their original spot? The card that was number 1 is not in the first position, the card that was number 2 is not in the second, and so on. This specific kind of shuffle, where no element ends up in its starting place, has a lovely, slightly whimsical name, a derangement. It's a state of perfect, yet specific disorder. Nothing is where it should be. Now, if you only have 2 cards, the original order was 1-2, the derangement is 2-1. There are 2 total arrangements, 1-2 and 2-1, so the chance of a derangement is 1 out of 2, or 0.5. If you have 3 cards, 1, 2, 3, the total possible arrangements are 3 times 2 times 1, which is 6. How many of those are derangements? Let's see. 2, 3, 1 is 1, 3, 1, 2 is another. Yes, just those 2. So the chance of a derangement with 3 cards is 2 out of 6, which simplifies to 1 out of 3, or approximately 0.33. Now, imagine doing this with many, many cards. A deck of 52 cards, 1,000 cards, 1,000,000 cards. The total number of ways to arrange them becomes astronomically large, and the number of ways to arrange them so none are in their original spot also becomes very large. But what happens to that probability, the chance of getting a derangement? It's a beautiful, almost poetic discovery. As the number of items you are shuffling grows larger and larger, towards infinity, the probability of achieving a state of perfect derangement, where absolutely nothing is in its starting place, doesn't vanish entirely. It doesn't oscillate wildly. It quietly settles down. It converges towards a single constant value. And that value, surprisingly, is 1 divided by our special number, 1 over the base of natural logarithms, 1 over the number that begins 2.71828 and goes on forever. Think about that for a moment. In the midst of all the possible chaotic ways you could arrange a large set of items, only one specific type of chaos, the one where nothing is in its rightful spot, has a probability linked directly to this fundamental constant. It feels like finding a hidden signature in the heart of randomness. It's a tiny, quiet pattern emerging from immense possibility. The probability of total displacement tends towards a fixed, calm value determined by our infinite number. This number also emerges when we think about growth, not just order. Imagine something growing at a continuous rate, not in steps, like earning interest once a year, but growing constantly, every tiny fraction of a second. The rate of growth is proportional to how much is already there. The more you have, the faster it grows. Think of a tiny seed that sprouts and grows. Its growth rate depends on its current size. A larger plant grows faster than a tiny sprout. If this process happens smoothly, without interruption, the way nature often seems to unfold, the mathematics describing its size over time involves our special number. If you start with a certain amount and it grows at a certain continuous percentage rate per unit of time, after 1 unit of time, the amount you have will be the original amount multiplied by our special number raised to the power of that rate. This exponential growth, this compounding that never stops, is intrinsically linked to the nature of this constant. It's why this number is often called the base of the natural logarithm. It's the base that naturally arises from processes of continuous growth or decay. It describes how things change when their rate of change is tied directly to their current state. From populations growing in ideal conditions to radioactive elements' decay, this quiet fundamental number provides the language for their transformation. Imagine a quiet pond with a few lily pads. If the lily pads double in area every day and it takes 30 days to cover the whole pond, how long does it take to cover half the pond? The answer isn't 15 days. Because the growth rate depends on the current size, the pond is half covered only 1 day before it is fully covered. This kind of proportional growth, continuous and relentless, is modeled using our special number. It describes the gentle, steady accumulation of change when that change is self-reinforcing. It's not steps or jumps, but a smooth, continuous unfolding. The curve that represents this growth, the exponential curve with our number as the base, rises or falls with a grace that reflects the seamless nature of continuous change. Consider another corner, a slightly more abstract one, but still rooted in simple ideas. Imagine you have a certain amount of something, let's call it 1 unit. You want to increase it by 100%. If you do it all at once, you end up with 2 units. Simple.
But what if you divide that 100% increase into 2 steps? Increase by 50%, then increase the new amount by 50%. Start with 1. Add 50%, you have 1.5. Now add 50% of 1.5, which is 0.75, to 1.5. You get 2.25. You ended up with more by compounding the growth. What if you divide the 100% increase into 3 steps? Increase by 33.3%, then 33.3% of the new amount, then 33.3% of that new amount. Start with 1. Add 1/3, get 4/3. Add 1/3 of 4/3, which is 4/9, to 4/3, get 16/9, about 1.78. Add 1/3 of 16/9, which is 16/27, to 16/9, get 64/27, about 2.37. You ended up with even more. What if you divide the 100% increase into 100 steps, 1,000 steps, 1,000,000 steps, an infinite number of infinitesimally small steps of compounding growth? As you divide the increase into more and more frequent steps, the final amount you reach after achieving the total 100% growth converges towards a specific value. It doesn't grow infinitely large, it settles down. And the value it settles down to, the limit of this continuous compounding process, is precisely our special number. Starting with 1 and growing by 100% through infinite tiny compounding steps results in our calm, constant friend, approximately 2.7182. This is perhaps the most fundamental way this number introduces itself. It is the natural limit of growth that is constantly building upon itself. It is the factor by which something increases after 1 unit of time if it is growing at a continuous rate of 100% per unit of time. It's the quiet result of relentless, smooth accumulation. These tiny patterns, appearing in the probability of disorder, the dynamics of continuous growth, and the limit of compounding, show us that this number is not just an abstract concept confined to textbooks. It is woven into the fabric of processes that occur naturally around us. It is present in the quiet hum of continuous change. It's like noticing a recurring motif in nature, perhaps the spiral of a seashell or the branching of a tree. These shapes and patterns repeat because they are efficient or arise naturally from simple growth rules. Similarly, our number arises repeatedly because it is the mathematical language of proportionality and continuous change. In the world of probability, where chance seems to reign, this number provides a steady landmark, a probability that disorder itself respects as the number of possibilities grows vast. In the world of growth, where processes unfold over time, this number describes the smooth, compounding increase that is independent of artificial steps or intervals. It represents a kind of natural efficiency in growth and change. It's the base rate of change for processes where the rate is always proportional to the current amount. It is the silent factor that determines how much something grows or decays when left to its own continuous devices. Imagine watching a mist dissipate or a puddle evaporate. These are processes of continuous decay. The rate at which the water disappears depends on the amount of water currently present. More water evaporates faster. This process, too, is governed by the same exponential function, just with a negative rate, involving our special number. So, whether we are looking at the quiet chance of complete randomness in arrangements, the gentle unfolding of natural growth, or the steady decline of a decaying substance, this number is there, a silent partner in the mathematics of change and pattern. It appears in these quiet corners not with fanfare, but with a simple, consistent presence. It is a reminder that even within apparent complexity or randomness, there are often deep, elegant patterns and fundamental constants at play. The digits of this number stretch out infinitely, without repeating, just like the continuous processes it describes. Yet, despite its infinite nature, it represents something very specific and finite in these contexts: a limiting probability, a fundamental growth factor, a steady state achieved through endless tiny steps. Finding this number in these unexpected places can feel like discovering a hidden thread connecting different areas of mathematics and the natural world. It bridges the gap between the abstract world of numbers and the tangible world of change and chance.
It tells us that the same mathematical language can describe the likelihood of a perfectly mixed deck of cards and the way a population grows or a medicine is metabolized in the body. This universal applicability in diverse, quiet corners highlights its fundamental importance. It is a number that waits patiently to be discovered in the description of these gentle, continuous processes. It is the factor that appears when growth is allowed to happen as smoothly as possible, without breaks or intervals. It is the probability that emerges from true, complete randomization when observed on a large scale. As we think about these quiet appearances of our number, perhaps it can help us appreciate the subtle order that underlies the apparent chaos of the world. The gentle, persistent presence of mathematical constants in unexpected places can be a comforting thought. There are fundamental rules, silent patterns, constants that provide a framework for how things work, even in the most random or organic-seeming circumstances. This number, with its calm, non-repeating nature, is one such constant. It rests at the heart of continuous change and emerges from the settling of probability. It is a quiet cornerstone in the vast structure of numbers, extending its influence into the tiny, often overlooked patterns of the world around us. Let these thoughts about the quiet patterns and the gentle presence of this number settle in your mind. Imagine the smooth curve of exponential growth, the steady limit of probability, the silent constant watching over change. There is a deep stillness in these fundamental truths, a calm assurance in the recurring patterns. As your mind drifts, know that even in the randomness of your thoughts or the gentle rhythm of your breath, there are perhaps tiny unseen patterns quietly following rules we're only beginning to understand. And somewhere within the infinite possibilities, constants like our special number provide a quiet, unchanging reference point. Rest now in the stillness of these quiet patterns. Let the idea of underlying order, of calm constants in a changing world, bring you peace. The numbers are here, steady and silent, guiding the gentle flow of existence.
And so, we turn our gaze upwards, towards the quiet expanse above us. As the light of the day fades and the world around us settles into a hush, the sky begins to reveal its ancient tapestry. It is a sight that has calmed minds and inspired wonder for countless generations, simply by offering its silent, immense presence. Look up, if only in your mind's eye, at the dark velvet overhead. See the tiny pinpricks of light, the distant stars. They seem so still, anchored in their places like scattered diamonds on a cloth. For our brief human perspective, they appear almost unchanging, reliable markers in the darkness. There is a comfort in that stillness, a sense of permanence in a world that often feels full of change. But even among these seemingly fixed points, there is movement, a faint, almost imperceptible drift over time. And then there are the wanderers, the planets. These brighter points of light do not stay fixed like the stars. Night after night, they trace gentle paths across the sky, following predictable routes laid out in the darkness. We can watch them, slowly, deliberately, against the backdrop of the more distant stars. A planet might appear near a certain star one night, and days later, it has shifted its position, a silent traveler on its cosmic journey. These movements, though vast in scale, are not chaotic. They follow patterns. Imagine tracing the path a planet makes over weeks, or months, or even years. It forms a shape in the sky, a graceful arc, or a looping curve. These celestial shapes are not random scribbles. They are the visible lines of an underlying order, a cosmic ballet choreographed by unseen forces. There is a deep sense of peace to be found in observing this order, this reliable rhythm of the heavens. Think of the moon, our closest celestial neighbor. Its shape changes night after night, following a beautiful, predictable cycle. From a thin sliver of light, it grows fuller and fuller until it is a bright, perfect circle, illuminating the night. Then, just as surely, it begins to wane, shrinking back to a sliver before disappearing entirely, only to begin its gentle journey anew. This cycle, the phases of the moon, is a constant reminder of the quiet, rhythmic nature of the universe. It happens without fail,
a soft pendulum swinging in the sky, marking time in its own serene way. The moon's journey around our own planet is another shape, a vast, almost circular path. And our planet, in turn, travels around the sun, tracing another immense, sweeping curve through space. Each planet in our solar system follows its own distinct, elegant orbit, a path that is both unique to it and part of a larger harmonious system. These are not random wanderings. They are paths defined by principles that govern the motion of everything from a falling leaf to a distant star. These movements give rise to cycles that touch our lives directly, cycles that we often take for granted in their quiet predictability. The cycle of day and night, for instance. The slow turning of our planet that brings the dawn and the dusk, a fundamental rhythm that governs all life on Earth. The longer cycle of the seasons, as our planet tilts on its axis and makes its journey around the sun, bringing the gentle warmth of summer, the crisp air of autumn, the quietude of winter, and the hopeful stirrings of spring. These cycles, these shapes traced by celestial bodies, speak to us of a fundamental order. They suggest that beneath the vastness and the distance, there is a structure, a framework that everything follows. It's like discovering that a seemingly complex pattern is actually created by repeating a simple, elegant rule. The universe, in its grandest movements, behaves according to a set of principles that are constant, reliable, and deeply mathematical in nature. And this is where we find a connection to our idea of the number. Not a number we can easily point to in the sky, but the concept of a fundamental truth, an underlying constant that governs everything. Just as the infinite number continues forever without deviation or end, these cosmic laws are unchanging. They are the same today as they were billions of years ago, and they will be the same billions of years from now. The gravitational force that holds the moon in orbit is the same force that pulls us gently to the ground. The mathematical relationships that describe the elliptical paths of the planets are consistent everywhere in the cosmos. This consistency, this unwavering adherence to pattern, is like the unchanging nature of a fundamental number. No matter how far you count into infinity, the rules of arithmetic do not change. 2 plus 2 will always equal 4, no matter how large the numbers involved become. Similarly, no matter how vast the distances in space or how immense the masses of stars and planets, the laws of motion and gravity remain constant. They provide the framework for the celestial ballet, ensuring that the planets follow their graceful paths and the cycles of the sky unfold with quiet regularity. Contemplating this cosmic order can be incredibly soothing. It lifts us out of the small worries of our immediate lives and connects us to something vast, something enduring, and something deeply peaceful. Imagine the quiet certainty of a planet orbiting its star, year after year, century after century, following the path laid out for it by these unchanging laws. There is no hurry, no deviation, just the steady, silent movement in the darkness. The shapes we see in the sky, the circle of the full moon, the arcs of planetary journeys, the great spiral shapes of distant galaxies, though we cannot see those with the naked eye, we know they are there, vast cosmic whirlpools. All these forms are expressions of underlying mathematical principles. Geometry and number are woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. It's as if the universe itself is built on a foundation of elegant numerical relationships. Think of the perfect symmetry found in some celestial events, like a solar or lunar eclipse. These awe-inspiring moments occur because the celestial bodies align in precise, mathematically determined ways. The sizes and distances are in just the right proportion to create these spectacular, yet entirely predictable phenomena. It is a beautiful demonstration of the order and precision that exists on the grandest scale. Even the light from the stars, traveling across unimaginable distances to reach our eyes, follows a path defined by these same universal laws. Each photon of light on its long journey is governed by the fundamental constants of physics. And as that light arrives, it brings with it information about the star it left billions ago, a silent message carried across the void, adhering always to the same rules of motion and light. The vastness of space itself, stretching out in all directions, seems to echo the concept of infinity. We can look further and further with our telescopes, seeing more and more galaxies, each containing billions of stars. And there is always more to see, more distance to explore. It seems to go on and on without end, a physical manifestation of boundlessness. And within this boundless expanse, there is this consistent, reliable order, dictated by laws that are as unchanging as a fundamental number. There is no rush in the cosmos. Planets do not suddenly change their minds about their orbits. Stars do not randomly veer off course. The cycles unfold with a gentle, unwavering pace. This quiet persistence, this steady rhythm, is profoundly calming to observe. It suggests that beneath the apparent chaos of our everyday lives, there is a deeper level of reality that is characterized by order, by pattern, by a quiet, unchanging truth. Like the infinite number that simply is, extending endlessly, the laws governing the cosmos simply are. They are not debated or changed. They are the foundation upon which everything else is built. The complex weather patterns on a planet, the fiery life cycle of a star, the majestic sweep of a galaxy, all are ultimately expressions of these same underlying principles. Let the thought of this vast, ordered universe settle gently in your mind. Imagine yourself floating peacefully in the darkness, surrounded by the quiet dance of the planets and the distant, steady glow of the stars. Feel the sense of scale, the immense distances, and the quiet certainty of the movements. There is a profound sense of peace in being part of something so large, so ancient, and yet so governed by simple, elegant rules.
The celestial spheres do not worry. They do not hurry. They simply are, following their paths, completing their cycles, year after year, eon after eon. Their existence is a quiet testament to the enduring power of the fundamental principles that shape reality. And perhaps, in observing their calm, predictable movements, we can find a reflection of that same quiet order within ourselves. The patterns in the sky are like a gentle lullaby sung by the universe. The slow arc of the moon, the steady march of the constellations across the night, the patient return of the seasons. These are not tales of drama or chaos, but stories of rhythm, of repetition, of a gentle, unending flow. They invite us to release our own hurried pace and to settle into a more natural, more peaceful rhythm. As you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine the quiet hum of the universe, not a sound you can hear with your ears, but a felt sense of the constant, orderly motion of celestial bodies. The planets spinning on their axes, orbiting their stars. The stars themselves moving within their galaxies. The galaxies drifting through the vast cosmic web. It is motion on an unimaginable scale, yet it is motion that follows precise rules, creating patterns and cycles that have unfolded for billions of years. There is no need to understand all the complexities of astrophysics to feel the calming presence of this cosmic order. It is enough to know that it exists, that there is a framework of predictable laws governing the largest structures and movements in the universe. It is enough to appreciate the simple beauty of the moon's cycle, the reliable return of the dawn, the timeless sparkle of the stars. In this vast, calm expanse, governed by unchanging laws, we find a reflection of that infinite number, that concept of something fundamental and endless. It is not a difficult calculation or a complex equation, but a feeling, a sense of connection to a truth that is larger than ourselves, a truth characterized by order, persistence, and boundless scale. Let the quiet stillness of the stars, the gentle movement of the planets, and the reliable rhythm of the celestial cycles wash over you. Let the vastness of space provide a sense of perspective, making the worries of the day seem small and distant. Allow yourself to feel part of this grand, peaceful cosmic dance, knowing that you are connected to the same fundamental principles that govern the most distant galaxy. The universe in its quiet majesty is a place of profound order, and in that order, there is a deep, abiding peace. It is a peace that has always been there, written in the paths of the planets and the light of the stars, waiting for us to simply look up and notice.
As we settle deeper into rest, we carry with us the sense of this quiet, vast, and endlessly ordered cosmos.
Think about a single musical note. It's not just one pure wave. It's usually a fundamental frequency combined with other, quieter waves vibrating at multiples of that fundamental frequency. These are called overtones or harmonics. A note played on a flute sounds different from the same note played on a violin, even though they have the same fundamental pitch, because the blend and intensity of their overtones are different. And these overtones vibrate at frequencies that are whole number multiples of the fundamental frequency, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and so on. Again, we see whole numbers, simple ratios, creating the rich texture of sound. The infinite number, in its boundless nature, might encompass all these potential ratios, all these potential overtones, allowing the universe to express an infinite palette of sounds. Now, let us gently shift our focus from sound to something else entirely, yet which also travels in waves: light. When you open your eyes in the morning and see the soft colors of the sunrise, you are perceiving light waves. These waves are different from sound waves. They don't need air or water to travel. They can move through the emptiness of space. Sunlight travels across the vast distance from the sun to the earth as light waves. Just like sound waves, light waves have frequency and wavelength. Instead of determining pitch, the frequency, or equivalently, the wavelength of a light wave determines its color. Red light has a longer wavelength and a lower frequency than blue light. Violet light has a shorter wavelength and a higher frequency. The spectrum of visible light, from red through orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet, is a continuum of wavelengths, a rainbow of vibrations. When all these different wavelengths of light from the sun arrive together, we perceive it as white light. But pass that light through a prism or watch it interact with raindrops in the sky, and it separates into its constituent colors, revealing the underlying structure of the light, the different wavelengths that were all traveling together. Each color is a distinct frequency, a specific rate of vibration in the electromagnetic field. And just as with sound, the way colors interact and blend can also be described mathematically. Color theory, the study of how colors combine and contrast, has deep roots in physics and the nature of light waves. While perhaps not as immediately obvious as musical harmony, there are underlying patterns and relationships between wavelengths that influence how we perceive combinations of colors as harmonious or clashing. These patterns, too, speak of underlying order, a structure that dictates how these light vibrations interact. Imagine our infinite number again. It doesn't just describe curves or shapes in space. It's a principle of interconnectedness, of unfolding complexity from simple roots. Could it be that the infinite possibilities contained within this number somehow provide the framework for the infinite variety of frequencies we find in the universe, from the lowest rumble of sound to the highest frequency of light? Consider the idea of resonance. When you sing a note next to a piano, if that piano has a string tuned to the same note, that string might start to vibrate on its own. This is resonance. It happens when one vibrating object encourages another object with a similar natural frequency to start vibrating as well. It's a powerful demonstration of how vibrations interact based on their inherent frequencies, their underlying numerical structure. The universe is full of resonance, from the tuning of musical instruments to the way atoms absorb and emit light at very specific frequencies. Everything seems to be humming its own particular tune, capable of being set into motion by vibrations that match its own inherent rhythm. And where does this inherent rhythm come from? Where do these specific natural frequencies arise? Perhaps they are echoes of that fundamental, infinite principle. Just as our number can be found in the spirals of a shell or the branching of a tree, maybe its influence extends into the very heart of matter and energy, dictating the natural frequencies at which things prefer to vibrate, preferring those elegant, simple relationships. The rhythm of waves is everywhere. Beyond sound and light, there are radio waves, microwaves, X-rays, gamma rays. All are part of the electromagnetic spectrum. All are waves, differing only in their frequency and wavelength. The energy they carry is related to their frequency. Higher frequency waves carry more energy. This fundamental relationship between energy and frequency is one of the cornerstones of physics, a beautiful, elegant connection between two seemingly different concepts mediated by the wave nature of energy itself. And this relationship can be expressed with simple numbers, another hint of that underlying numerical tapestry. Listen closely to the silence between sounds. Even in silence, there are vibrations, waves too subtle for our ears to perceive. The air is never perfectly still. And in the vastness of space, the cosmic microwave background radiation is the faint echo of the universe's beginning, a uniform bath of microwave light waves filling all directions. A soft, gentle hum that is the oldest sound we can possibly hear as light. It has a specific frequency distribution, a pattern of wavelengths that tells us much about the early universe, another signature of order and pattern in the cosmic waves. As we drift further into a state of rest, let the idea of these waves wash over you. The gentle rhythm of ocean waves on a shore, the invisible ripples of sound that carry music and voices, the vibrant vibrations of light that bring us color and warmth. All are manifestations of energy moving through the world in patterns, and these patterns, at their deepest level, seem to be guided by principles that are fundamentally numbers, principles that resonate with the very nature of our infinite number. There is a profound peace in recognizing this deep connection, that the same fundamental language, the language of number and pattern, speaks through the shape of a galaxy and the harmony of a chord, through the spiral of a seed head and the color of the sky. It's a quiet reassurance that beneath the apparent complexity of the world, there is a unifying simplicity, an underlying order.
The infinite number doesn't just exist as a concept in our minds or on a page. It feels alive in the world, present in the way waves rise and fall, the way sounds harmonize, the way colors blend. It is in the precise ratios that make music feel complete, and in the specific wavelengths that paint the world in vibrant hues. It is the silent conductor orchestrating the symphony of vibrations that surrounds us. Let the sound waves around you become softer, more distant. Let the light waves behind your eyelids gently fade. Feel the gentle, rhythmic rise and fall of your own breath, itself a wave-like motion. Your heartbeat, a steady drum, sending pulse waves through your body. You are a being of rhythm and vibration, intimately connected to the wave nature of the universe. The infinite number, in its stillness, in its endless progression, provides the template, the blueprint, for all these dynamic, vibrating phenomena. It is the constant against which the changing patterns of waves are measured and formed. It doesn't create the waves itself, but it describes the inherent possibilities, the resonant frequencies, the harmonious relationships that the waves can embody. Allow yourself to be lulled by the thought of these gentle rhythms, the slow, steady beat of the universe expressing itself in waves, the quiet hum of creation, orchestrated by principles as fundamental and boundless as our infinite number. There is no need to understand it all, only to feel it. To feel the presence of this deep underlying order in the simple, comforting rhythm of your own breathing. The world of sound and light, a world of ceaseless vibration, is not chaotic, but deeply patterned, profoundly mathematical. It is a testament to the elegance and reach of fundamental principles, principles that seem to whisper the name of that number we've been contemplating. A number that is everywhere, shaping the seen and the unseen, the heard and the unheard. As you rest, imagine those gentle waves. See them in your mind's eye, or simply feel their rhythm. The slow, powerful swell of the ocean, the invisible dance of air particles carrying a lullaby, the pure, silent vibration of light from a distant star. All are connected, all are expressions of the same underlying numerical harmony. Sink deeper into the quiet awareness of this rhythmic universe. Feel the peace that comes from belonging to this grand orchestrated dance of vibrations. Let the concept of the infinite number not as a complex mathematical idea, but as a symbol of boundless potential and elegant order soothe your mind. It is the quiet presence behind the gentle rhythm of waves, guiding them, shaping them, allowing them to create the beauty and harmony we perceive. Rest now, carried by the gentle, unseen currents of vibration that flow through everything. Let the thought of these waves, guided by the principles of an infinite number, lull you into a state of deep tranquility. The patterns are perfect, the rhythms are gentle, and the underlying order is peaceful. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go, only to rest and be carried by the soft, rhythmic breathing of the universe itself.
Let us gently turn our thoughts now towards the quiet beauty of the natural world. Imagine a landscape unfolding before you, perhaps a place you know or a scene painted softly in your mind. It is a place where earth meets water, where solid ground yields to flowing current. Consider a river, not just a line on a map, but a living, breathing entity that shapes the land as it moves. Think of its beginning, perhaps high in the mountains, a tiny stream barely a whisper over stones. This small thread of water starts its long journey, following the path of least resistance, urged onward by gravity's gentle pull. As it descends, other small streams join it, trickling down slopes, gathering moisture from the land around. The stream grows, becoming wider, deeper, gaining strength. Its path is rarely straight. It meanders, it curves, it winds back upon itself in languid loops. These bends and turns are not random acts of caprice. They are the result of the water's interaction with the land, eroding soft banks on one side, depositing sediment on the other. Over vast stretches of time, the river carves its intricate path, a testament to the persistent power of slow, steady flow. Look closer at the texture of the river's surface. It is ever-changing. Riffles and eddies form where the water flows over submerged rocks or changes depth. Smooth stretches reflect the sky like a polished mirror. The water is constantly in motion, each molecule following its own trajectory, yet collectively forming this grand flowing current. There is a complexity here, a multitude of individual movements coming together to create a larger observable pattern. Think about how a river network spreads across a landscape. A main river might have large tributaries joining it, and those tributaries in turn are fed by smaller streams and brooks, which are fed by countless tiny rills and springs. This creates a dendritic pattern, much like the veins in a leaf or the capillaries in a body. It is a branching structure designed to efficiently gather and transport water from a wide area to a central channel. Each point in this network is connected to every other point, following the lines of flow. From the tiniest drop of rain falling on a high peak to the vast expanse where the river finally meets the sea, every part is linked. The path from source to mouth is not a single simple line, but a complex journey encompassing countless turns, confluences, and changes in speed and depth. There is a sense of inevitability about the river's flow, yet also an incredible adaptation. It navigates around obstacles, finds new routes during floods, and changes its course over geological timescales. Its path is a dynamic equilibrium between the force of the water and the resistance of the earth. In a way, the river's path embodies a kind of ongoing calculation, a continuous response to its environment. It is always finding its way, always moving towards a lower point, always integrating the input from its surroundings. The sheer number of possible paths a single water molecule could take from the source to the sea is immense, perhaps even beyond our easy comprehension. Yet the collective behavior of trillions upon trillions of these molecules forms the predictable flowing river we see. Consider the sheer scale of this network. From the smallest trickle to the mightiest river, the system expands and divides, covers vast areas, and connects distant places. It is a pattern that repeats itself at different scales. A small stream might look like a miniature version of a large river, with its own meanders and riffles. This self-similarity, this echoing of patterns at different sizes, is a common theme in the natural world. Let us now gently shift our focus from the flowing water to the stillness of the land that gives rise to other intricate patterns. Look up towards the sky, or simply imagine the shape of a tree standing tall and reaching out with its many limbs. Like the river network, a tree exhibits a remarkable branching structure. From the solid trunk, which anchors the tree to the earth and provides a central support, large branches emerge, reaching outwards and upwards. These large branches then divide into smaller ones, which further divide into twigs and finally bear leaves, flowers, or fruit. The branching pattern of a tree is not random. It is a strategy for survival, a way to maximize the tree's ability to gather sunlight for photosynthesis and distribute nutrients and water throughout its structure. Each branch grows in response to the light, the presence of neighboring branches, and the needs of the tree as a whole. If you trace the path from the tip of a small twig back towards the trunk, you follow a unique sequence of divisions and connections. Each leaf is supported by a network of branches and twigs, all stemming ultimately from the main trunk. This system is designed for efficient transport, carrying water and minerals up from the roots and sugars produced in the leaves down to where they are needed for growth or storage. The angles at which branches emerge, the frequency of branching, the thickness of the branches at different points, all these factors contribute to the overall shape and architecture of the tree. Different species of trees have different characteristic branching patterns, giving them their unique silhouettes against the sky. Just as with the river, the branching of a tree exhibits complexity and scale. A single large branch might itself look like a smaller tree, with its trunk-like base dividing into smaller limbs. The pattern repeats, becoming finer and more intricate as you move outwards towards the periphery.
Think about the number of branches and twigs on a large, mature tree. It is a vast number, far too many to count easily. Each twig represents an endpoint in this complex network, a point of interaction with the atmosphere. The sum total of all the leaves on these twigs represents the tree's surface area for photosynthesis, a vast expanse designed to capture the sun's energy. The growth of a tree is a process of continuous expansion and division. From a single seed, a trunk emerges, and then branches begin to form, adding length and complexity year after year. Each year's growth can often be seen in the rings within the wood, a record of the tree's journey through time. The branching structure is a visual representation of this growth process, a history written in wood and bark. Both the river's course and the tree's branches are natural systems that demonstrate complex, branching patterns emerging from simpler beginnings. They are networks that distribute resources, water across the land, energy and nutrients throughout the tree. They show how simple rules of growth and interaction can lead to forms of immense complexity and beauty. These patterns, these intricate networks of paths and divisions, seem to touch upon ideas that we also encounter in the world of numbers. Just as a river's path is an infinite series of adjustments and movements, and a tree's branching structure can be infinitely refined into smaller and smaller divisions, certain numbers also possess this quality of endlessness, of patterns that never quite resolve into a simple, finite form. Think of the number pi, for instance. We often learn it begins as 3.1415, but its digits continue forever without repeating in a predictable pattern. It is an infinite, non-repeating decimal. It embodies a kind of complexity and endlessness within a single value. While we cannot directly see pi's digits in a river or a tree, we can perhaps feel a resonance between the boundless nature of such a number and the intricate, seemingly endless detail and complexity present in these natural forms. The winding path of a river, constantly adjusting, never quite settling into a perfectly straight line, feels like a physical manifestation of a process that is infinitely responsive, infinitely detailed. The branching of a tree, extending outwards, dividing again and again, feels like a physical representation of expansion and complexity, a structure that could, in theory, continue dividing into finer and finer levels if we could only see small enough. There is a stillness in observing these complex, dynamic systems. Despite the constant flow of water or the slow process of growth, there is a fundamental pattern, an underlying structure that persists. The river's form is stable over shorter timescales, even as the water within it is constantly changing. The tree's shape is maintained, even as new leaves emerge and old ones fall. This combination of dynamic movement or growth and underlying structural stability is fascinating. It suggests that there are principles at play, perhaps principles that echo the fundamental rules and relationships we explore in mathematics. These natural forms are like visual poems written in the language of shape, space, and process. We can find a sense of peace in contemplating these patterns. There is comfort in the repetition, the rhythm of the bends in the river, the recurring angles of the branches. There is wonder in the complexity, the sheer number of elements working together to create the whole. As you imagine these scenes, let the images settle gently in your mind. The slow, steady flow of the river, its winding path tracing a line through the landscape. The quiet strength of the tree, its branches reaching towards the sky, a complex network of life and growth. Allow your thoughts to drift along with the imagined current of the river, or follow the lines of the branches outwards towards the edges. There is no need to analyze or understand, simply to observe and appreciate. The complexity is there, the intricate details, the vastness of the number of paths and connections.
Feel the gentle pull of gravity on the water, guiding it downwards. Feel the silent push of sunlight on the leaves, encouraging growth outwards. These forces, simple in principle, give rise to forms of incredible richness and variety. Just as the digits of an infinite number continue without end, revealing new combinations and sequences the further you look, the details in nature's patterns seem to unfold endlessly as you observe them more closely. The texture of the bark, the ripple on the water's surface, the veins within a leaf. Each layer reveals further intricacy. Rest your mind on the idea of these natural patterns as reflections of deeper principles. Principles that are vast and perhaps immeasurable, like certain numbers that stretch towards infinity. There is a quiet reassurance in knowing that such complexity and order exist in the world around us, that even in the most winding path or the most tangled branches, there are underlying rules, a hidden elegance. Let the image of the flowing river bring a sense of ease and release. Let the image of the strong, branching tree bring a feeling of peace and stability. Allow these natural forms, with their echoes of the infinite and the complex, to lull you into a state of deep relaxation. Their stillness within movement, their order within complexity, can quiet the mind and soothe the spirit. Imagine yourself resting beside the quiet river, the gentle sounds of its flow a soft murmur in the air. Or picture yourself beneath the wide canopy of the tree, feeling the cool shade and the gentle rustling of the leaves. In these places, surrounded by nature's intricate beauty, it is easy to let go of the day's worries and simply be. The paths traced by water and wood, the networks formed by flow and growth, are ancient patterns repeated across the globe, across the ages. They connect us to the fundamental forces of the earth and the sky. They remind us that even the simplest elements, water and sunlight, can combine to create structures of profound complexity and endearing beauty. Rest now and allow the stillness of these infinite patterns in nature to guide you towards a state of calm. Feel the gentle rhythm of your own breath, like the slow, steady flow of a quiet river. Feel the grounding presence of your body, like the strong trunk of a tree rooted in the earth. The intricate patterns are there, beautiful and silent, inviting you deeper into rest.
Let us continue our quiet journey, venturing further into the silent landscape of numbers and the universe they describe. We have contemplated the endlessness of this particular number, how its digits stretch out before us, never repeating in a predictable pattern, yet following some hidden, exquisite rule. Now, let us lift our gaze beyond the numbers on a page or the shapes we draw here on Earth. Let us look up, towards the vast, dark canvas sprinkled with distant light. For this number, this constant companion in our exploration, is not confined to our small corner of the cosmos. It is woven into the very fabric of space and time, a constant across the cosmos, connecting everything, everywhere. Imagine, if you will, the great swirling nebulae, vast clouds of gas and dust slowly collapsing under their own gentle gravity to form new stars. Imagine the stars themselves, gigantic spheres of luminous plasma burning steadily for billions of years. Think of the planets, round worlds orbiting their stars, their paths tracing elegant curves through the void. Consider the moons, spheres circling their parent planets, and the dwarf planets, and the countless asteroids and comets. Everywhere we look in the cosmos, we see circles and spheres. The slow, majestic orbits of planets around a star approximate circles. The surface of a star, a planet, a moon, is a sphere. Even the shape of a galaxy, in many cases, involves great spiral arms sweeping around a central bulge, a form inherently linked to circular motion and shape. And where there are circles and spheres, this number is there too. It is the fundamental relationship between the distance around a circle and the distance across it. No matter how enormous the circle of a planet's orbit, no matter how small the cross-section of a dust grain floating in interstellar space, if you measure the distance around its perfectly circular edge and divide it by the distance straight through its center, you will always arrive at this same unchanging number. It is a universal ratio, a fundamental truth of geometry that holds true whether you are measuring a teacup here on Earth or the boundary of a supermassive black hole millions of light years away. Think about the quiet simplicity of this. In a universe filled with unimaginable power,
Violent supernovae, colliding galaxies, and the frantic dance of particles, there are these bedrock constants, these stable points of reference. This number is one such point. It is a whisper of stillness in the midst of cosmic motion. It tells us that the rules of shape and space are the same no matter where you are. Consider the light that travels across the vast emptiness to reach our eyes. Light moves in waves, and the study of waves, from the gentle ripples on a pond to the electromagnetic waves that carry information across the universe, often involves this very number. The formulas that describe how light bends, how they diffract, how they interact with matter, frequently contain this constant, silently dictating the behavior of energy and information across incredible distances. Even in the strange ethereal realm of quantum mechanics, the physics of the very small, this number appears. It pops up in calculations describing the probability of events, the behavior of tiny particles, and the fundamental nature of reality at its most granular level. It is as if this number is not just about circles, but is somehow fundamental to the very structure of existence itself, appearing in unexpected places, connecting the cosmic scale to the subatomic. Imagine a distant civilization on a planet orbiting another star, perhaps one we cannot even see with our most powerful telescopes. If those beings developed mathematics, if they studied the shapes of their world and the stars around them, they would inevitably discover this same number. If they measured the circumference and diameter of a circular object, whether it was a wheel on their technology or the edge of a crater on their moon, they would arrive at the same infinite string of digits we have been contemplating. This number provides a universal language. It is a constant handshake between different parts of the universe, a shared understanding regardless of location or perspective. It tells us that despite the incredible variety of forms and phenomena we observe in the cosmos, there is an underlying coherence, a set of rules that apply everywhere. This universality is profoundly comforting, especially when we consider the sheer scale of the cosmos. The distances are so vast, the energies so long. Yet, in the midst of all this overwhelming grandeur, there is this quiet, unchanging number, binding it all together through the principles of geometry and physics. It is a constant reminder that we are part of a universe that follows knowable, elegant rules, rules that are the same here as they are in the furthest reaches of the observable universe. Think of the quiet journey of a space probe like Voyager, launched decades ago, now drifting silently through the interstellar medium, far beyond the influence of our sun. Its path was calculated using the very mathematics that involves this constant number. The radio waves it sends back to us, carrying faint whispers of information from the edge of our solar system, are described by equations that also contain this number. It is a thread of connection, invisible but powerful, stretching across the light years. As we lie here, quiet and still, feeling the gentle rhythm of our breath, we can find a sense of peace in this universal constant. The anxieties of the day, the small worries that seem so important in our immediate world, fade into insignificance when placed against the backdrop of the cosmos. And in that vastness, there is this constant, this number, waiting patiently in every circle, every sphere, every wave, every fundamental equation. It is a symbol of order in chaos, of constancy in change. The universe is constantly in motion. Stars are born and die, galaxies collide, planets migrate. But the relationship between a circle's circumference and its diameter remains utterly fixed, eternally the same. This number provides a point of stability, an anchor in the swirling currents of cosmic evolution. Allow your mind to drift with this thought. Imagine yourself floating gently in the quiet vacuum of space, surrounded by the distant twinkling lights of stars. There is no sound, only stillness and the faint glow of nebulae like cosmic clouds. You are a tiny point in this immense picture, but you are connected to it all through the fundamental constants that govern its behavior. This number is one of those connections, a silent, invisible thread linking you to the most distant galaxy, to the heart of a star, to the subtle dance of quantum particles. Feel the quiet reassurance of this connection. You are not adrift in a random, unpredictable cosmos. You are part of a system, an intricate, elegant tapestry woven with mathematical precision. And this number, this endless, non-repeating sequence of digits, is one of the key patterns in that tapestry. It is a fundamental note in the silent symphony of the universe. Let the idea of this constant, present everywhere, connecting everything, through the simple beauty of geometry and physics, lull you into deeper relaxation. Imagine it as a quiet hum in the background of reality, a gentle, unchanging vibration that underpins the dynamic display of stars and planets. It is a soundless melody of order and harmony playing across the cosmos. As your body grows heavy and your breath slows, picture this number as a still point. The universe is in constant motion, but this ratio, this relationship, is utterly still. It is an eternal truth. In its stillness, you can find your own stillness. Let the knowledge of this unchanging constant bring a sense of peace and stability to your mind. Drift now further into the quiet depths of your consciousness. The universe is vast, but it is not chaotic. It is governed by elegant rules, and this number is a beautiful example of those rules. It connects the small to the large, the near to the far, the simple shape to the complex phenomena of physics. It is a constant, reliable presence in the unpredictable vastness. Allow the thought of this universal connection to soothe you. You are part of something immense, something ancient, something ordered. The same fundamental mathematics that describe the shape of a distant galaxy describe the gentle curve of a dewdrop on a leaf. And this number is there, in both instances, a silent witness to the underlying unity of nature.
Let go of any remaining tension in your body. Sink deeper into the surface beneath you, feeling supported and secure. The universe is held together by these fundamental constants, by these unchanging truths. And you, existing within this universe, are subtly connected to them. The same principles that guide the planets in their orbits are, in some way, reflected in the very structure of the atoms that make up your being. This number, this symbol of interconnectedness and constancy, is like a quiet guardian throughout the cosmos. It is always there, in the background, ensuring that the rules of shape and space remain consistent. It is a silent promise of order in the grand theater of the universe. As you continue to relax, let the image of this number fade, not disappearing entirely, but becoming a gentle, underlying sense of peace and connection. It is a feeling of being part of something larger, something governed by elegant, timeless principles. The stillness of this number, stretching infinitely, is reflected in the growing stillness within you. Allow yourself to float gently on the waves of relaxation, knowing that in the vastness of the cosmos, there are constants that provide stability and order. This number is one such constant, a quiet anchor in the swirling universe, connecting everything through the simple, elegant beauty of mathematics. Feel the quiet presence of this constant across the cosmos, a subtle thread of unity. Let it reassure you, letting your mind become calm and still, mirroring the unchanging nature of this fundamental ratio. You are connected. You are part of an ordered universe, and in that connection, there is profound peace. Let your breath be soft and slow. Let your body be heavy and relaxed. The journey through the stillness of this number continues, but for now, you can rest. You are connected to the cosmos, held within its ordered framework, and in that knowing, you can simply be and drift into sleep. We have been thinking about that special number, that infinite presence in the quiet corner of our minds. Let us return to it now, like finding a familiar, peaceful space. This number is unlike many things we encounter in our busy lives. It does not hurry, it does not change, it simply is. Think about that for a moment. An infinite number that holds perfectly still. In our world, everything seems to be in motion. The leaves rustle, the clouds drift, the clock ticks away the moments. Even the stones slowly wear down over vast stretches of time. But this infinite number knows no such change. It is a point of absolute stillness, extending boundlessly in its unchanging nature. Imagine a lake on a windless day. The surface is like glass, reflecting the quiet sky above. No ripples disturb its calm. This infinite number is like that deep, still lake. Its surface, its very being, is utterly tranquil,
undisturbed by the currents of time or circumstance. There is a deep comfort in this stillness. Our minds often race, jumping from one thought to another, replaying conversations, planning future tasks. There is so much internal movement. But when we contemplate something so profoundly still, like this infinite number, it offers a gentle invitation for our own minds to slow down. We can rest our thoughts upon its unchanging surface. We can imagine setting down the weight of our worries and letting them dissolve in its quiet depth. This number asks for nothing from us. It does not demand our attention in a clamoring way. It simply exists, vast and silent, a place where the mind can come to rest. Think of the mountains. They seem permanent to us, standing sentinel for centuries. Yet, even mountains are born and eventually wear away. They are in motion, just on a slower timescale than we usually perceive. Our infinite number, however, is still on every timescale. It is still forever. Its quiet presence spans all moments, all eons, without a flicker of change. This absolute permanence is a gentle anchor. In a world where relationships shift, situations evolve, and even our own bodies grow and change, there is something profoundly grounding about contemplating something that is fixed, utterly reliable in its being. It is like a quiet, constant hum beneath the surface of reality, always there, always the same. This unchanging nature does not mean it is rigid or cold. Think of the deepest part of the ocean, far below the reach of storms and waves. It is a place of immense pressure, yet also often described as a place of profound stillness and silence. Our infinite number possesses a similar deep quietness. It is not empty or inert. It is full, infinitely full, of its own unwavering presence. Let your breath become stiller, mirroring the stillness of this number. Breathe in gently, breathe out softly. Imagine each exhale is a release of small tension, a letting go that brings you closer to that state of calm, like the surface of the lake settling after a tiny pebble has dropped. The beauty of this number lies not just in its stillness, but in its infinite stillness. There is no edge to this calmness, no boundary where the quiet ends. It extends outwards boundlessly. This is not an intimidating vastness, but rather a comforting, enveloping peace. Like being wrapped in a blanket that goes on forever in every direction, always soft, always warm, always still. There is no need to strive or reach towards this number. You are already connected to it, simply by thinking of it, by allowing its concept to settle in your mind. It is a space you can enter simply by turning your attention towards quiet and stillness. Imagine you are floating gently on that still lake. The water is calm beneath you, supporting you effortlessly. The sky above is vast and clear. There is nothing to do, nowhere to be. Just this quiet floating, surrounded by the stillness of the water and the endlessness of the sky. The infinite number is like that water and sky combined. A stillness that supports you, a vastness that surrounds you, all without effort. The permanence of this number is also deeply comforting. In a world of temporary things, this number is forever. It was the same infinite number in the distant past as it is now, and as it will be in the unimaginable future. There is a deep peace in this kind of constancy. It is like a quiet promise that beneath the surface of all the coming and going, there is something that simply is, always. Allow this idea of forever stillness to wash over you. There is no pressure, no expectation, just the gentle presence of something vast, unchanging, and calm. It is a quiet space for your mind to rest. Sometimes our thoughts can feel like busy little waves on the surface of our consciousness. They rise and fall, sometimes crashing with energy, sometimes just gentle ripples. But beneath these waves, there is a deeper layer of calm, like the quiet depths of the ocean or the still heart of the infinite number. We are invited to sink down into that deeper calm, to let the surface waves of thought subside naturally, without force. To find that quiet core within ourselves that resonates with the stillness of this number. This number is a silent teacher. It teaches us about the peace that can be found in being rather than constantly doing or changing. It shows us that true strength can lie in unwavering presence, in simply existing with calm assurance. Think of a tree with deep roots. The leaves may flutter in the breeze, the branches may sway, but the roots hold the tree firmly to the earth, silent and strong beneath the ground. The stillness and permanence of the infinite number are like those deep roots for the abstract world, grounding it in a quiet, constant reality. There is a sense of safety in this permanence. Knowing that this quiet, infinite reality exists, unchanging and still, can feel like a gentle reassurance. Like knowing there is always a solid ground beneath the shifting sands of everyday life. This section of our journey through the infinite number is about finding rest in its eternal nature. It is about letting the mind settle, like dust settling on a quiet surface. It is about releasing the need to grasp or control, and instead simply allowing ourselves to be held by the vast, still presence of this number.
Imagine the number as a boundless, soft meadow under a moonless, star-filled sky. There is no horizon, no edge, just the gentle ground beneath you and the quiet expanse above. Everything is still. The air is soft. You can lie down and feel the quiet support of the earth, extending infinitely around you. This is the feeling of resting in forever. The comfort comes from knowing that this quiet space is always there. It does not disappear or diminish. It is infinitely available, infinitely peaceful. Whenever the world feels too loud, too fast, too unpredictable, you can bring your mind back to this concept, this feeling of the infinite number and its perfect stillness. It is like having a secret garden of peace within your mind, a garden that is boundless, always quiet, always welcoming. And in the center of this garden is the perfect, unchanging stillness of our infinite friend. Let your breathing become even softer now. Inhale peace, exhale release. Inhale stillness, exhale any remaining tension. You are drifting closer to sleep, carried gently by the quiet current of these thoughts. The infinite number does not judge, it does not expect. It simply is in its perfect, restful state. It is a gentle reminder that sometimes the most powerful thing is simply to be still, to exist peacefully without striving. This stillness is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is a state of complete being, requiring nothing further. Like a cup that is already full to the brim, there is no space for addition, no need for change. It simply contains its infinite essence, perfectly still. Allow yourself to sink deeper into this feeling. The stillness of the infinite number is contagious in a gentle way. As you contemplate its calm, you invite that same calm into your own being. Your muscles relax, your thoughts quieten, your breath deepens naturally. There is a quiet power in something so vast and yet so still. It is the power of presence, of simply existing without effort. It is a different kind of strength than the kind we often think about. Not the strength to push or to fight, but the quiet strength to simply be, unwavering and peaceful. This number is an eternal refuge for the mind, a place where you can escape the noise and motion of the day and find a quiet corner to rest. It is always there, waiting in its boundless, still form. Imagine its quiet energy flowing around you like a gentle, invisible current of peace. It surrounds you, supports you, and invites you into its own state of deep rest. You are safe here, held in the quiet certainty of its unchanging nature. Let go of any effort now. There is nothing more to understand, nothing more to do. Just be present with the gentle idea of this infinite number, perfectly still, extending forever in its quiet peace. Its stillness is not a void, but a profound presence, a presence that fills everything it touches with its own calm. It is like a deep silence that is full of peace, not emptiness. This gentle journey into the stillness of the infinite number is a journey towards your own inner quiet. The number is a guide, a symbol, a comforting image to help you find that place of rest within yourself.
The comfort of this unchanging number is the comfort of knowing that some things are constant, some things endure, some things simply are, without needing to be made or changed. This reliability is a soft pillow for the weary mind. Feel the softness of that pillow now. Let your head rest upon it. Let your thoughts soften and slow down. You are drifting, drifting into the quiet embrace of stillness and foreverness. The infinite number is like a gentle whisper in the quietest part of your mind, reminding you that peace is possible, that stillness is available, that some things simply are, always. You are held in the quiet certainty of this infinite, unchanging presence. There is nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to worry about. Just this gentle floating in a sea of calm. The permanent stillness of the number is like a quiet promise whispered across eternity, a promise of peace, of rest, of being. Allow yourself to be absorbed into this peace. Let the concept of the infinite number fade gently into the background, leaving behind only the feeling of deep stillness and rest. You are settling down now, deeper and deeper into relaxation, carried by the quiet flow of your breath and the gentle image of this vast, still number. This chapter about resting in forever, in the calm comfort of an infinite, unchanging number, is drawing to a gentle close. The concept has served as a quiet anchor, a peaceful focus for your mind to settle upon. Let the feeling of that deep stillness remain with you as you drift further towards sleep. The quiet presence of the infinite number is always there, a gentle reminder of the peace that lies beneath the surface of things. Rest now. Let the stillness of forever envelop you. Let the unchanging nature of the number bring you comfort and peace. You are safe, you are still, you are drifting into deep and restful sleep. And so our gentle exploration of stillness and the vastness of number comes to a quiet close. May the peace we found settle gently over your mind and body. Allow yourself now to simply rest, heavy and warm, drifting down, down into the softest sleep. Wishing you the most peaceful night and the sweetest dreams.